let's do this. Hold on a second. Okay. Okay, it says we are live. Okay, so again, there is that delay, but it's fine. Okay, so hi. I know we're live. We don't have any viewers, but that's okay right now. Eventually, hopefully they'll come in.
Get on, like, and subscribe.
That's right. Thumbs up.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thumbs up to everything. All right, so Michael, introduce yourself. Let us know a little bit more about you, and then we'll probably, I might have a few more questions for you to get to know you a bit more.
Great, no problem at all. Well, yeah, my name is Michael Brandt. Like you mentioned, I'm with AmeriFirst Mortgage. AmeriFirst is based out of Phoenix, Arizona, but we have a branch here in Austin, and we're actually a region. So we have a whole region that we cover, and we have about 8 offices in our region right now. I have 21 years in the business.
Nice.
This is my 21st year. Yeah, so I've seen a lot of changes in Austin. I've seen a lot of ups and downs, and I've seen different real estate cycles that I've weathered them all. And for the most part, I've been with the same company. I don't jump around a lot. I haven't been with 10 mortgage companies. I've been with a handful over my career. I like stability. I like when I find a place that's good, I like to stay there. I don't always necessarily look for the grass is greener. But with AmeriFirst, there were some opportunities that we just felt were this company is doing things that other mortgage companies aren't doing, and it's really a good way for us to set ourselves apart and be something that consumers can look forward to when they get a mortgage or when they talk to a mortgage person. We're not just your average rate, rate process and relationship. We're relationship first. We're products and rate and experience.
Right.
So it's great. And I think our products are different and better than what most other mortgage companies have these days to help consumers.
Yeah, definitely. I am excited to go into that a little bit more. It's okay, Melissa. And I know here in a few minutes we'll definitely jump in on that, but I am excited to get to know more about the programs that you have to offer, and I think the audience, when they do tune in, they'll be able to learn more about what you do offer, how you can help them, and maybe build more new relationships off of that. So I think that's exciting.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good.
So what kind of coffee do you like?
What kind of coffee?
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna be amazed at this. I don't drink coffee.
Oh my God! See, I knew.
Yeah,
What's okay? I'm sorry. My apologies.
I'm a Dr. Pepper guy. I have Dr. Pepper like one a day, and that's all I need.
Oh my gosh. See?
Love it, Melissa. I love it. I just never got into coffee. Now my wife and even the girls right now, they drink a little bit of coffee stuff. Of course, I have a Starbucks account, and I own stock in Starbucks because I should have owned it by now myself.
Right.
But it's funny thing is Starbucks I don't ever get anything from, so it's like a worthless trip for me always. But no, I'm just never was a coffee drinker. I tried it once in college when I was studying real late for exams, and I crashed really hard and decided I don't need that anymore.
Yeah, not for you. That is crazy. Right. I guess, I don't know. I need to get better about that. And I remember, Melissa and Amanda, we talked about that. I have such a bad habit thinking that everybody in this world drinks coffee, and they don't. And here's you telling me I don't drink coffee.
We had some tea drinkers.
I know. Do you drink tea?
Yeah, I like tea. I like tea. Nothing wrong with tea.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I feel horrible. I'm so sorry. Let me see what else I can think about. What is your favorite restaurant? Do you live in Austin, by the way?
I do, yes.
Okay, what's your favorite restaurant in Austin? That's going to be a tough one.
I'd probably have to say True Love's.
Really? Okay. Okay. You know what? That was really fast. Normally, a lot of people are like, there's so many great places out here. Like, I can't name one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're high maintenance.
If you ask me, I should have said you have to be a lot more specific. It depends on the category. If it's Mexican food, it's a certain place. If it's seafood, if it's steak, we have our favorites and everything. But I say Truluck's first because usually when my wife and I celebrate something, that's where we go.
Nice.
So if it's like if she gets a promotion or a raise or I close a big deal or something like that, we celebrate at Truluck's.
Nice. Okay, cool.
That's cool.
I love it. Guys, it is 7 o'clock. And you know what that means. Yes. All right, so let's do the introduction. We are your host, ATX Homegirls.
Yes, homegirls.
Yes, a diverse group of local realtors serving the greater Austin area. So here to my right, it's Melissa Hudson. Girl, Hudson. I'm the worst host right now. Hey, wait, is MJ there? Melissa. Melissa. Oh, I need to do it this way. It's like backwards on my screen. So it's Melissa Hudson. To the bottom, I have Amanda Alvarez. And then to my, is it my right? My right. I don't know. The screen looks so
right.
To my diagonal. Yes, we have our special guest, Michael Brandt. And Michael, I know you just did a quick intro. Please, again, reintroduce yourself. Tell us a little bit more about your where you're from, what business you're in, and then that way people know what we're going to be discussing here in a little bit.
Okay, so my name is Michael Brandt. I'm with AmeriFirst Mortgage, or AmeriFirst Financial of Texas is what we call our branch. And at I've been in the business for 21 years, so I'm really well versed in mortgages and the mortgage industry. I've done everything from a loan officer to being a manager to doing P&Ls for a branch. So I've done it all, but I've had my loan officer license the whole time, and I've always originated loans. So even when I was doing those other roles, it was just in addition to being a loan officer. So that's one thing that I pride myself in. I try to learn everything I can about the business. As a loan officer, I want to know what the processors do. I want to know what the underwriters do. I want to know what the closers do. I want to have a good knowledge of everything that's going on. And to me, that really helps when I'm talking to my customers and explaining the process to them. I'm from Houston originally. I was born in New York. When I was 9 months old, my mom moved to Houston. So I still consider myself a Texan no matter what.
Oh, yes.
And then when I went to school, I went to Southwest Texas at the time. It's now Texas State.
Yep.
The state.
Mm-hmm.
Graduated from there. And
Bobcats.
That's right.
There you go.
But when I started going to Texas or Southwest Texas at the time, I had to work while I was going through school. And so the beginning of my sophomore year, I got a job waiting tables here in Austin because there's not a lot of restaurants in San Marcos, especially at that time. There was only a handful and they weren't very busy. So I needed to make good money so I could pay for school. And so I started waiting tables here in Austin, decided to move here, and I've been here ever since. So I've lived here longer than I've lived anywhere else.
Nice.
Well, you can't leave. Once you get to Austin, you can't leave.
It's hard, right?
Not with the hills, the trees, the water. Nope. Houston doesn't have that. Houston's just a concrete jungle.
Hopefully we don't have any Houston peeps listening in.
Oh, that's okay. They know it. I love Houston. I mean, I won't knock it bad, but it is a concrete jungle. And I was talking to somebody just yesterday, a borrower, and they were sitting in traffic in Houston, and I said, "Oh man, I'm so glad I don't have to do that anymore."
Yeah.
I go, people complain in Austin, but 45 minutes in Houston, you go 3 miles. And he's like, I know, I'm about to hop out and start beating some people up. I go, hey, no road rage, man. I go, put on some Friday and just chill out.
Which is crazy because that's with like 7-lane highways. That's how populated it is.
That is crazy. I don't go to Houston often, but when I do, it kind of overwhelms me. That's an overwhelming city. I'm just loose. I'm used to just our 183, 35 and Mopac. You know what I mean? It's simple. 71. That's it.
I drive fast here. But when I get to Houston, I'm scared to drive. It's like people are flying by you at 100 miles an hour. It's crazy.
I would probably get an anxiety attack. So.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So I do have some questions, and the topic right now is it's cash keen, right? And I did want to bring up a few of the issues that have been going on, and I think you've seen all kinds of markets, Michael, being in the business for 20 plus years. And
Yep.
I don't know what you have to say about the last couple of years since the pandemic. How crazy has that been for you? Or is this something that you've seen before?
No, this is unlike anything we've ever seen in Austin. I will tell you this, usually the kind of discussions I have with clients when it revolves around investments, making investments in real estate, I used to say commonly that, Austin we're immune to the rest of the country,
right?
Here in Central Texas, because we've had such great employers and we have so much land, so we can move out, right?
Right.
So our average appreciation rate was probably around 5 to 7% for the last 10 to 15 years. And I said, that's solid. You can bet on that, right? So
right.
I used to brag that we didn't have these double-digit appreciation rates, and therefore, when the economy turns, we have double-digit depreciation, right? And so Austin's never really had that. Back when I got into business in 2001, I don't know if y'all might be too young to remember this, but that was the tech bust here in Austin.
Yep.
And a lot of tech companies were going under, and that caused the market to stabilize. Like prices didn't really go down, but it kind of flattened.
Right.
And rates were at 6.5%. So during that time, we were thriving. I mean, the market, we're still plenty of people buying houses, and there was a lot more first-time home buyers, and you could buy a house for $175, $150 in the Austin city limit.
Yeah.
Now that's a pipe dream.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I mean, going into that, we're seeing, obviously, with the market being so competitive, right? Where buyers feel they're at a disadvantage, especially if they're going to be financing. And I know you have some exciting programs to talk about to hopefully get the hopes up, right, for buyers that are looking to buy, have these new creative ways of getting a home. And I know it can be overwhelming to a lot of buyers, but if they can just stick through it, right? Again, like you said earlier, it is a relationship business, right? We build the relationships first, have that trust there, go through the steps, and have these programs presented to them for creative ways of getting a home, winning a home, right? So,
Absolutely.
I mean, it's one thing to lay out your budget and look for a home. It's another thing to win it. So tell us a little bit more about that program you have.
Great, I will. So our program, we call it Cash is King, and it's two components to it. One is we'll buy if you're a seller and you're looking to move up, or you're looking to move down, or you're just looking to move across or get a new house. We have a program, we call it the trade-in program. We will buy the house cash for the seller, and that helps to prevent a contingency when they're buying their next house. It also allows them to free up their equity so they can use that as a down payment on the next house.
Nice.
Yeah, and so we'll buy the house cash. We usually buy it for about 90% of the value, and that's a computerized value, so it's not market value, right?
Okay.
The way I explain it is the computer doesn't take into account the current market. It doesn't take into account the listing that's on the market down the street for $750.
Right.
It takes into account the last house that sold, which was $725.
Right.
So yeah, it's going to be a little bit less than market, and there's a reason for that. It's because we're not doing this to lose money, right? We're not trying to make money. We're not making a profit on these programs.
Right.
On this program, what we're doing is we want to be conservative in our approach. We want to buy the house for 90% of the computerized value, and then we sell it. We send you money twice. One is when we buy it, and one is when we have you sell it for us.
Okay.
As the agent, you don't lose the sale. You still get the sale, and you'll sell it for us when we take ownership.
Right.
And then we'll pay your commission based on the higher price to which we sell it for, which is what you would have gotten paid originally.
Right.
So
that's
Ultimately,
that is
the goal
awesome.
is to get that you want to call them a client, a buyer. You want them to win. So
That's right.
Michael and I just recently had a transaction doing the exact scenario he gave, and I had an adorable family in my neighborhood that sought my services a year ago, and they kind of had a unicorn of a wish list. And y'all know me, I never want to say no. I just want to be able to help. And I didn't know how I was going to be able to find them this particular home they needed. It had to be a single story, 4 bedrooms, more than 2 bath, in the same neighborhood. And we're in Shadow Glen in Manor, Texas, as you know, and it just is so competitive that there just was no way for them to win unless they had, that money to go over the list price and then, pay more than the loan would value on their new purchase. So I don't know. Somehow I got some correspondence. I think Ben sent me your email and said, because I constantly sought out to him and I said, what do you have coming? I have this family. I've been bugging him for months. And he goes, hey, let me shoot you this email. And that's when I called Michael, and it was like, wow, this actually worked for them guys. And we closed on their original home last week.
That's awesome. That is so good to hear. And for the buyers out there, or anybody that's looking to buy or thinking about buying, or they have a home to sell, hey guys, there's hope out there. And Michael has an awesome solution about this. So Michael, I do have a few questions for you if you don't mind. Sure. Whenever what you do when a buyer is looking to buy a home, right? And they have a home that they need to sell. Do you first see if they're able to qualify for both mortgages? Like, do you present those options as well? And do you also work out some creative plans as far as like, hey, your house would need to sell for this amount in order for you to qualify for this program, but we're only going to be able to buy it for, X amount of dollars. I mean, does that come up? I mean, tell me more about those scenarios.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing I do is when I talk to a consumer or a customer, I have a consultation with them first. It's not just a loan application and let's move on down the road.
Right.
I talk to them about their goals, their wishes. I ask them about property they own, any other real estate. Is this their first house that they're buying? Is it the second, third, fourth? I want to know because, it speaks a lot to how I have to formulate a plan and really advise them on what's the best option for them. Right. So, I ask all those questions. And I do ask, hey, if you sold your house for this price, this is the equity you would get out of it. I generally tell them, these are going to be your costs for title. These are going to be your costs for the agent's fees. This is going to be your cost for closing. And then I estimate how much they would earn from that closing. And then we talk about, does it make more sense to rent out your current house and then buy this new house? Because maybe there's cash flow on that, and maybe that cash flow is very beneficial to you. Or does it make more sense to sell it and use the equity to put a large down payment on this house so you keep your payments relatively the same, but you got a much nicer house, something you've been dreaming of. So that's the main thing. I think in this market, there are 2 major problems, right? One is there's not enough inventory. So the problem with that is most people that normally would sell this time of year feel like they can't find another house, right? They feel like they can't go buy the next house. Yeah, so we feel like this program answers that to a degree. We can make that real easy. And the way we do that is go find the other house. Go look. If you find something, you fall in love with it, don't be scared about selling your house. We're here to back you up. Yep. Exactly. So go find that house. If it has a pool, great. But be ready, because if you find it, you're going to have to move quickly, right?
Exactly.
Now, our goal isn't to spend a ton of cash and just hand it out to people to go buy houses, right?
Right.
Because at some point, the market's going to turn, and at some point, we'll lose money if we keep doing that.
Right.
We're not like Open Door. We're not like any of those other companies, the fintech companies. We're doing this strictly so we can get the mortgage so we can do the mortgage for them. And we want to be in and out of it quick.
Right.
We don't want to hold on to it forever. We're not looking to gain equity in this transaction. And like I said earlier, the borrower gets paid twice. They get paid when we buy their house, and they get paid when we sell their house. So whatever the difference is between what we paid for it and what we sell it for, we get back to the borrower. So we never keep that equity.
Absolutely.
Michael, I had somebody ask me a question, and I think this would be pretty easy for all of us to answer, but you're on the stage right now. I do have some sellers of mine that are, maybe their house is in some disrepair, maybe there's repairs that need to be done. How does your company, what are the things that they require to assess what they're really going to pay for that house.
No, that's great. So what we're going to look at is like I said, the computerized valuation model, like an AVM. We look at that AVM to determine value, and that's what we lend on. We pay cash on 90% of that value. That's the offer, right? And just because we make the offer doesn't mean the seller has to accept it. Or we can make the offer, the seller say, I think I can get a little bit more and I think I can sell it fast. Okay, great. Let our offer sit there on the back burner, use it as plan B, and go forward with plan A, right? There's no problem for us. We can do that. As far as repairs go, the AVM doesn't tell us what condition the house is in, unfortunately. But we do communicate with the agent. We communicate, because I think, Melissa, even in our transaction, you told me ahead of time there was a lot of stuff you were going to tell them to fix before they were going to put the house on the market, right? And so the good news was we were able to move past that. Like they could have taken 3 months to make those minor fixes, and then the house that they were dreaming about would have been long gone, right? So one of the things that we can do is, if there are repairs, so we'll get an inspection of the property after we have it under contract to purchase it. We'll do an inspection, use your inspector. We don't use our own. And then, not to make it perfect, but just to make it current, right?
Right.
And as we experience, like,
okay, there was a connection.
Details.
Okay.
But
Let's see. Hold on just a sec. There was a connection issue. I think I lost you there for a second. All right, go ahead.
worries.
Yeah, I got you now.
Okay. Yeah, so they were just minor details, and the inspection report will tell us what we need to know, and then we can decide the borrower can pay those out of pocket, so they can pay for those repairs before we close on it out of pocket, or we can pay for it when we sell their house out of their proceeds. So we have that option now. I think, Melissa, when we did this back about a month ago or 2 months ago now, we only had the option that they had to pay for it out of their pocket. We didn't have the option to pay for it out of their proceeds. Right. Now we can do that.
So my suggestion would be if there's a seller listening or watching that, we potentially makes sense to have, let's say you're a seller and you think this is the only way you're going to get your next home because you'll have the cash to compete in the market right now. And you're concerned that your home may have some issues, or you're concerned that this particular mortgage company won't give you as much money. Maybe you go ahead and pay for an inspection report ahead of time, and that way you know what you're up against, and still have them come in, because they're going to require that inspection report anyway once they make the offer to you. But at least that way you'll have a scope of what what you're looking at, and what potentially they could reduce the value amount based on this.
That's sage advice, right, to a seller, because I think even if they weren't using the cash program and they wanted to list their house for sale, it makes sense for them to get an inspection and see what an inspector is going to find, because now they'll know ahead of time and they can prepare. I think that's great. And so any other questions about that portion? Because I also want to talk about the buy side, but I don't want to talk about that until we address the
definitely
sell.
I think on the sell side it's pretty straightforward to get all of that going. Can you guys hear me okay? Yeah? Okay, sorry. I don't know what's going on with my connection, but I think we're pretty good on the sell side. So go ahead, Michael, and jump into on the buy side to see how we can help buyers in this market if they don't have a home to sell.
Okay, yeah, no problem. So as I mentioned earlier, one of the things that are preventing people from listing right now is because they don't have another place in mind to buy, or they think it's unaffordable or unattainable. So what we want to do is we want to help them. We want to help that type of person feel comfortable in obtaining that next house and being able to do it aggressively, like most other buyers that are coming in with cash now, right? So what we'll do is we'll get them pre-approved for their mortgage ahead of time, before they start looking. And we do something, our other program that we have to use in conjunction with this is called PYT.
Okay.
It's Protect Your Transaction. And all that is a borrower that gets fully credit approved before they start looking for a house.
Perfect.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah. So we right now about 90% of my buyers are getting PYT certified. So we're getting them through underwriting ahead of schedule, getting it totally approved, so that when they go under contract, all we'll need is an appraisal, homeowner's insurance, and title work.
Okay.
That's it. And that way we can close in like as little as 2 weeks if we need to.
Michael,
So the financing
yeah, go
days
ahead,
on
Melissa.
third-party
Sorry.
financing addendum, what are you suggesting we put in there?
So so that's great. That's a great question, because that has to do with the buyer's approval, right? Basically credit approval. So if we got them PYT certified before that, you could put a 0, big fat 0 in that box, because they're already credit approved.
Right.
So we don't have to worry about that.
Okay.
Now, the only time that would be different is if, let's say, we got them credit approved for $500,000 and the offer they made was $600,000.
Okay.
Even though they still qualify, we didn't get them approved that high. Then we would have to go back into underwriting for that amount, but that would take literally 24 hours. So
Yeah.
you could put 2 days in there just to be safe. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
Okay. So yeah, on the buyer side, it's I always say the way I explain this to buyers is think of this as a plan B, not necessarily a plan A. Let's have your plan A be what you typically do.
Right.
That you get a loan for the house, and we're trying to make the best offer we can with financing, right? But if you start getting fatigued, or if you see that the first one got away and you're real upset about it, let's look at plan B and let's do plan B, implement it. Or implement it right away if you feel like this is your only chance of getting a house. So our plan B, which would be buy the house cash for the buyer, and then we turn around and sell the house back to the buyer. It's basically a flip, right? And we can only do that on conventional and VA. We can't really do it on FHA, but I'll tell you how we can make this work with FHA. There's a way we can do FHA. Now I'll remind you, this means we're going to buy the house cash, right? And then we're going to own it, and then we're going to sell it to the buyer. Another way to utilize this is when you write the contract, you can write it as AmeriFirst and or assigns, right? So remember, every buyer that we are doing this with has gotten PYT approved. They've been through underwriting already. And I remember I told you that we could close it in 2 weeks. Right. So here's what you can do. You can make an all cash offer. You can make it closing in 2 weeks. And you write it as the seller or the buyer as AmeriFirst and or assigns. And then what we do is we get the appraisal done, we get the insurance, and we get the title work, and we're ready to close that deal with a traditional loan. So we don't have to use our cash, and the buyer can close because we'll just assign the contract to them at closing. Perfect. So they'll close the financing with the loan that we were intending to do from the beginning, and key bar to the door. They're off to the races. So that's one.
That is awesome.
A percentage buyback whenever they get the keys? Do you guys charge like 1% back to that person or something? What percentage?
Yeah, we charge 1.5%, and then we charge 8% per diem while our cash is outstanding. So 8% per day, but it's not like 8% of 600,000 for every day. It's 8% of 600,000 divided by 365 days, and that gives you the daily per diem. Okay. It's like per diem interest on their loan anyway that they would have regardless if they close on it.
Are you seeing a certain? It would be tough for you to answer this question. I'm just curious. You might know. For the buyers that you've seen that are doing this, do you see kind of a general number of what they're paying in fees? Most of them.
That's a great question because we don't make a profit. We also don't incur any expenses, right? So we pass the normal expenses that a seller or a buyer would have onto the buyer or the client, right? So yes, it's about 3% is the average. So if you took the 1.5% fee, the 8% per diem, and the title cost, that would be about 3%.
Okay.
And that's what we see on average.
Okay.
So let's just say somebody has something they don't owe on their property. It's completely paid off. They want to sell it. ASAP to get into something before, the market goes crazy again, or they miss out on an opportunity of a home that they want. How does that work?
That would be the sell side, and we would go in and buy the house from the seller, so it could free them up to do what they want on the next house, and then we turn around and we'll list it with you to sell it for us.
Yeah, he kind of moved on to the buy side of it, but
Yeah, I think it was cutting out. I was trying to ask questions on there, but I don't think anybody heard me.
Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Yeah,
Sorry.
I did have a
Knock it out
few
now.
connection
Go ahead,
loss.
Amanda, ask all you want.
No, I was trying to talk and I was like, what's going on?
Oh man.
No,
That's,
I think
It's okay.
I think our connection's pretty good. And my apologies, it might be on my end. I did see it said on my screen signal lost about 2 times, and I think I had to stop you, Michael. I was like, wait, Michael, can you hear me? So you know what? Let's backtrack to the seller transactions, just so the audience knows that we're talking about the seller side now. Amanda, go ahead and ask those questions.
Yeah, so okay, so the buyer part, so like if they have a piece of property paid off, they just want to sell it, do they have to buy something? Or
No.
what if they just want to sell it outright, get their money and be done?
That's a
be
good
done with it?
question.
Great question. We will do that. We'll buy the house to get them whatever they need to do. We don't care if they want to take the money and go gamble with it. We don't care. Of course, we wouldn't advise that, and I hope you wouldn't advise that.
No, I'm just asking. I have
know.
someone that well, I don't know if you guys do land or residential only.
Mhm.
Does
Yes.
We'll consider anything if we're buying it. If we're buying it because we're going to turn around and sell it, we're going to flip it. So, of course, we're going to go in there and get 90%. Like I said, we're going to buy it at a discount, a 10% discount, and then we're going to sell it. So if we can do that and get out of it unscathed, where we don't lose any money, absolutely, we'll do it. And yeah, I think we would even consider land. It would be case by case for land because that's a little more speculative, I guess.
well, I do have a listing, and I would like to, bring this up to my clients, if it is possible. They have, there's 21 acres. It isn't a residential, but there are restrictions. But I know that they just kind of want to sell it, be done with it. I don't think they're going to buy anything anytime soon, but it is paid off. So they don't currently have a loan on it.
one of the things I would imagine, Amanda, on that one is the amount that this company may pay for that land might not be favorable to your seller. So that'd be one of the things I would be maybe at least on the radar.
Yeah.
That's a great
Yeah,
question,
how long is that
Amanda.
on the
Yeah.
market right now?
I'm sorry.
How long has it been on the market currently?
It's been on the market since November.
Okay. So yeah, so I think, Melissa, actually it wouldn't be disadvantageous to them because we would buy it at a discount from them, and then we would turn around and sell it, and whatever profit was made on the sale, we would give back to them.
Oh,
So-
wow.
The only disadvantage would be that it would cost them an additional 3% versus trying to sell it the way they're currently selling it.
Yeah.
But if they're willing to spend 3% to get this monkey off their back, it may be worth it to them. Who knows?
Right.
And also, I heard you, Liza, have a little green light, red light moment. Just so you know, on the transaction that I had with Michael, what I sold their house for, they made an additional profit. So they really do mean that they're not there to make a ton of money. They really want to secure the mortgage loan and help a buyer or a seller in this case, which is a buyer, secure a home in this market. And what I love about it is it's truly helping people that live here. They live in this market and they're buying in this market. So it helps, realtor, buyer, seller, mortgage company, local, so that they're actually buying in the city they live in, and they're winning. So yes, they're buying it at a percent, at less than market percent.
Right.
Sales price. But when we as a realtors go to sell that property, of course, our job is to try to make them the most money possible because we want to be able to give more money back to them at that second close.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's a great program, Michael, that you guys have, that you genuinely want to help a buyer or seller. And as mortgage broker, loan officer, you guys have presented this program to help bridge that gap. And I think that's awesome, especially being local. That's awesome that you can provide that service, additional service, to go above and beyond for clients that are stressed in this market and are having a hard time. And you bring about this creative solution to help them with that. I did have a question. So, all right. So I just want to recap for the audience that's viewing right now. On the sell side, if you need to sell your home in order to purchase another home, now, please remember, this market has changed to where a lot of people, what they're doing now, they're buying first because it's what's necessary in this market now. It's changed that much that you have to almost buy first before you sell. And this program that Michael has allows you to do that. So you can tap into that equity and be able to qualify for that next home purchase, right? And that's on the sell side. They're able to buy that at a 10% discount, whatever the sold comps do show on there, whatever it's reflected. And do I have that right so far, Michael? Am I recapping okay? All right. So I just want to make sure that the audience understands that for the sell side. And on the buy side, they can purchase a home cash with your money, right? And on the back end, you are doing the loan so they can buy it back from you guys. And if for any reason you are able to close this loan with that loan that they were going to do anyways, you assign it to them, and it's not even like they have to buy it back. So I think that's so awesome. I thought that was my light bulb, my aha. Because there are other programs, and you know that, Michael, there's other programs out there, because I think a lot of people, a lot of companies have seen what buyers are struggling with. And this to me was awesome that you're just able to assign it to them. You know what? I can close your loan in 2 weeks. Or if you can't close it in 2 weeks per the contract, how you guys have stipulated the terms on the contract to close in 2 weeks, and to finance their loan, you need another week. Well, then they just buy it back from you. There's that option. I just think this is awesome. Yeah.
So our CEO is so forward thinking. I love the way he talks about Cash is King program. He says two things. One is on the sell side, it's a contingency buster, right? No more contingencies.
Yes. Nobody does contingencies anymore. It's so hard now. It's so hard. I feel for the buyers and sellers out there. It's so hard to do a contingency. So yes.
And the reason he did this. Did I freeze up? Sorry.
Yes, you did freeze up. So hold on a second. There you go. I think I see it. Yeah, there you go. Okay, you're back.
So leave it. The reason he did this was he wanted to compete directly with fintech companies. We want to provide the service to our customer, right? To help our customers to defeat the fintech companies. We don't want them feeling like they have to leave us to go find another option that fits their need, right? So they stay with us, we fit their need, we help them, and then we get the loan. That's our payback, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, the other thing that he says all the time is every offer you make should be a cash offer. Yes. Every offer. Yes. Right? Because we will back it up. We'll either pay cash for it if we have to, great, and then we'll sell it back to you, or we don't have to use our cash. You can qualify for the loan, you get the loan, and we close it. We sign it to you at closing, and you close it with traditional financing.
Awesome.
So it's important to note for the buyers out there that are listening to exactly what he just said. You go to this company, they're going to work to get you fully financed, right? Before you go and do the shopping. We're going to write that offer cash for you so that we know you're competitive, okay? And once we're under contract, so it's, AmeriFirst or is a sign, if winning the offer means cash, I think that's pretty much what you just said. Your odds are better writing the offer as cash, but before we get to the closing date, because they've done everything already, and there's just a couple of items to button up, they will just assign it to you at close, and then you're outright buying it direct from that seller and not having to buy it back from the lender.
Right.
So, and if not, what's the worst case scenario? They're going to buy it for you and you'll buy it back from them.
And think about this too. If we have to buy it with cash and it's going to cost you 3% more than what you would have paid normally, think about the opportunity cost there, right? So we're providing a solution so they can close immediately. versus them getting buyer's fatigue in this market and looking for another 30 days or 60 days to find the right house that they finally win an offer on.
Right.
We can prevent all of that for 3%, right? You were talking peanuts, because by 30 days or 60 days, the houses that they're looking at have gone up in value by 10, 15, 20%,
Exactly.
right? So 3% is nothing. Yeah.
Boom.
Yep. Oh, mic drop.
I know. Oh, that was a cute mic, Melissa. So, all right. So I do have a question, just so the audience is aware as well. A lot of buyers in this market are having to offer more than asking price. And we do our best as realtors to run an opinion of value, right? We can't say with certainty that this is what it's actually worth, right? That's what an appraiser is for. But we do provide an opinion, right, based on sold data, so they can make the best judgment out there and put an offer in. Now, on the off chance that they use your program, we get an appraiser out there, and I'm just going to hypothetically, I'm going to put out some numbers out there. They offered $600,000. They won the offer. Great. Now they get appraisal. Appraisal comes in short at, I'm going to make something up, $580,000. How do you guys navigate that in that process? So I know that's a lot, very stressful for some buyers. I just want to know, because I know they're going to want to know this. I know they're going to ask. Their buyers are much more savvy now in this market. So go ahead.
No, it's a valid point, and it's a great question. The way it works is we do the same thing as we do with the sell side. We get the AVM of the house that they want, right? And then we determine what the value is that we're willing to provide cash for.
Okay.
And then the difference between that value and their offer. So let's take your example. Let's say it's listed for $580,000 and they're offering $600,000. And let's say we did our AVM and it came back and it said $580,000, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to require them, because they made an offer at $600,000, we're going to require them to put $20,000 in deposit.
Okay.
They have to deposit that money, held by the title company, $20,000 deposit that goes towards their closing, whether we close it cash or we close it as a financing.
Right.
And then when we get the appraisal in and it comes in at $580,000, they have the cash they need to make up the difference that they would have had to have even if they were getting a traditional loan.
Got it.
So
okay.
It really, there's no difference, right?
Okay.
They'd have to do it just like they would have to do it on a traditional loan.
Perfect. Yeah, just curious how that would work out on your program.
Yeah, and if they didn't have the money, then they negotiate the contract. You negotiate it up front, right? So you just say, yeah, every buyer knows, especially with good representation, that's the key, right?
Yes.
If you're not, let me just say this real quick. If you're not using an agent in this market, especially as a buyer, you are doing yourself a huge disservice.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that because I work with agents. I'm saying that because it is the most difficult market I've ever seen to navigate.
Yes.
It's virtually impossible. And the reason that is values are changing quickly. They're changing overnight. They're fluid. It's so fluid. And you're competing against huge investment companies that are trying to buy up property.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I don't feel comfortable going alone against a big investment company.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
They're going to take advantage of me every time.
Yeah.
And that's what they're going to do in this market. And so if I don't want to do that myself, I better have Superman in my corner. And to me, right now, buyer's agents are Superman. And I'm not exaggerating.
A whole powerhouse team, you know what I mean? Everybody has to work together. I mean, gosh, I mean, more than ever, I mean, that communication, that relationship, like you mentioned earlier, the trust. I mean, we're all working hard, very hard as a team to get buyers into homes in this market. And you're right, it's insane out there. But I'm glad that you guys are able to provide that.
Question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
So, and I'm saying this because we do have listeners that are super new, like, oh, I'm going to be a first-time homeowner. And so the questions are pretty simple to us in the business. But for the buyer that's new, I don't know. Would you tell us, would they be a good candidate for this program? Because essentially they need to, you need to have what, 3.5%, 5%? What is the recommendation for them to be a new buyer, and how this, if you think this program would work for them, and if it doesn't, do you have something that will?
Great question. What we require up front is 6% of
Okay.
the purchase price. That's our earnest money deposit. We require that. Doesn't matter if we're doing FHA, VA, conventional. That's the minimum, right? And then if you were doing a conventional loan and you were putting 20% down, then it would be 20% plus the 6%, right?
Okay.
If you're doing FHA, remember I talked about how there's a special carve out for FHA. And the reason that is because FHA doesn't allow for flips. Well, they don't allow for flips within 90 days. So we can't sell it back to them with an FHA loan. They can't get an FHA loan when we sell it back to them if we buy it cash.
Right.
Okay.
So what we would do on FHA is, as long as they had the 6%, we would go ahead and make the cash offer, and then we would assign it to them before we close. We would get them completely underwritten, and we would assign it to them. On all FHA deals, we're going to close with financing. We're not going to close with cash.
Right.
But we can write the contract as cash and or assigns so that we have the ability to assign it to them and close it with traditional FHA financing.
Because you have to with an FHA.
Right.
Yeah,
with an FHA.
exactly. And if they have their 6%, that's going to cover the minimum down payment requirement, which is 3.5%, and it's going to cover almost all their closing costs, which would be another 2.5%. So the 6% they would need regardless, unless they were getting a gift from mom and dad. And by the way, we'll take gifts. If mom and dad wants to give a gift, 6%. Yeah.
How about the VA? VA still needs a 6%? Or
VA would still need the 6%, but on a case-by-case basis. If we have somebody that's super well qualified for VA and they have great credit, they're very low risk, we may reduce that because we know they don't need a down payment to go VA. And of course, we're going to go above and beyond to help our veterans.
Right.
okay.
Absolutely.
So to recap on that, it's VA loans, conventional loans, and with FHA with some work around
Case
it, right?
by case.
Case by case. All right.
Oh, and we'll even do jumbo. We'll do jumbo loans on
Yeah.
this.
Jumbo loans.
Yep, absolutely. And that's a tough market, as y'all know. I mean,
Yes.
that's $600,000 to $700,000 range, even on up to $1 and $1.5 million. Those are the fastest growing segments of our market right now.
Yes.
So
Who knew, right, Michael? Like, who knew?
trust me, Melissa, I would have been scooping up houses a couple years ago if I'd have known.
I know, right?
There's a little neighborhood in Manor. What is it? Briar Creek?
Yeah, Briar Creek.
I think back then they were selling houses for like 50 and 60.
Oh my God.
And now, I know. It's crazy.
They're at 300 and up now over there. So
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Well, and that's the other thing, we can talk about too, is a lot of people have a lot of equity right now. So let's say hypothetically, they don't even want to sell their house because they don't want to get into another mortgage payment. And let's face it, they probably paid down a good portion of their mortgage by now. They may have a bunch of equity sitting there that they could use to pay off debt, especially if they have high interest debt, credit cards, stuff like that. Cash out refis. Refis are going away because rates are going up, right?
Right.
Interest rates are going up. So refis are gone, but cash out refis are still a big thing. And I still close about 10% a month of those. And cash out refis are great because you can restructure all your debt and have it rolled into your mortgage payment. Your mortgage payment only goes up $50, $60, $100, and you got rid of everything. You got rid of $600, $700 a month in debt. So, yeah, that's a great thing to call about and chat with me. I'm not a financial advisor, but I feel like I am.
Yeah.
That's what I talk about every day with clients. And my best friend in Houston's a financial advisor, and we talk about stuff all the time. So I'm very well versed in what's the best bang for your buck, where's the best place to invest your money. I'm not going to go out on a limb and tell you where the best place to invest in. We all know right now with inflation, it's real estate, right?
It's real estate, no matter. Yeah, it's not even just Austin. It's just buy, buy something. Yeah.
Well, they always say, and I've heard this forever. And when I graduated with my finance degree, our professors always told us. I'm froze there for a second. Our professors always told us the best investment you can make in a time of inflation is a real appreciable asset.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So what is the most common real appreciable asset?
You got it. Yep.
Real estate.
There you go.
Real estate. It's the most common and it has the highest potential. So it's a no-brainer during inflationary times, and that's what we're going through right now. So if you can do it, if you can put together the finances and you can buy real estate, now's the time. Investment property, second home, move
Land.
up. Land, yes. Call Amanda if you need land, if you need.
There you go.
She got some land.
Yeah, she got 15 acres or whatever that was.
21, right?
21 acres.
21 acres.
Yeah.
Have you ever had someone who you think, oh, they may be a candidate, they're a seller and they want to, have you ever either that or just told someone, hey, just keep your property, don't sell it? Have you ever had that situation?
Yeah, because I think part of, like I said, the initial process in talking to a customer is to really get a good overview of their finances and what their goals are. If their goal, if I know, for example, Melissa, they're going to retire in a couple years and they may have a reduction in income because of the retirement and this property is cash flowing $500 a month or something, I may say, hey, you're really better off taking that, quote unquote annuity of $500 a month to supplement your income than you would be getting all that equity now and trying to invest it at your age where, in order to get a good return might be a riskier investment, right? If your real estate is appreciating 10% a year, and that's modest, and almost all around the country, that's pretty modest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is.
If it's appreciating 10% a year, where else are you going to invest money that you have to earn 10%, almost guaranteed? There's nothing. I mean, there's hardly anything, right?
Yeah.
Over the past 10 years, it was the stock market. But with inflation, you don't want to necessarily buy stock. You want to buy a real asset.
Yep.
And a real asset would be real estate.
Yep.
So it makes a lot more
Melissa
sense.
and I were just talking about that yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I firmly believe, I agree with you, Michael, on all of that. It's so true. So, I mean, I know it's a little bit scary out there in this market, but gosh, I mean, anything that people can find, at least invest into it and make it work somehow. But I did have another question, Michael, for you, and I'm sorry to throw you all these questions at you, but I'm pretty sure this is what our viewers want to know. Okay, so on new homes, we do see a lot of homeowners that want to be new homeowners again, right? And specifically, they want to buy a new construction home. How would that work? And I think this would be a great program that they have something to fall back on with your company buying their house, right, in order for them to purchase another one. But on the new construction side, I know a lot of new builders have had some pushback with how the name on the contract reads as a business rather than the actual owner, the buyer themselves. So how do you guys navigate around that?
That's a great question. It actually came up today in a meeting I had. So with new builders, with new construction, we do a bunch of those with the cash buy program. Okay. We do it with the cash sell program too. Of course, it gets rid of a contingency, so we can always write a pre-approval letter to the builder that doesn't have any contingency. Mm-hmm. And of course, no builder is going to take a contingency these days. Right. But we have determined, and it's come to our knowledge that some builders won't let us put AmeriFirst and or assigns. Mm-hmm. So in those cases, we can't use the cash buy program. We could still use the cash sell program. That doesn't require anything special. Okay. But we can't use the cash buy. They just have to get traditional financing.
Right. And that could still be worked out. I mean, just having the timing done,
it's not all builders. That's the good thing.
And exactly, I was just wondering about that. I mean, I have come across those issues, and I'm like, well, dang, this would have been perfect. But then again, I mean, they're so far out nowadays. It's 9 months.
I was gonna say. It's like, so I have a client that has a home to sell here in Manor. She's gonna bid on a new construction on Friday. She has to go through their lender to at least get the pre-approval. Of course, I'll use another lender. But I don't know how successful we'll be if she's not ready. It's again, like if you're going to sell your home through this program, where's she going to go until that other house is built?
Right.
I don't know how to
Navigate that.
Well,
I would tell her this, like, let us, if we can get her PYT approved and we make her a cash offer, she doesn't have to accept the cash offer immediately. She can wait until the day she closes on the new house to accept our cash offer, and we'll close on it the same day.
Okay.
So she can always have that as her backup. And of course, with these changing timelines on construction, this is almost perfect, right?
Yes.
Because
yes.
it's so hard to time the market if you've got to get out of the house and into a new one and the new one's not ready, right?
Yeah.
So this is great for that because you can always have this plan B, this safety net of a cash offer, just waiting for you to use it if you need it. If you don't need it, great, right? You get your equity, all your equity. You don't pay the 3%, so you save that money and you move on and you get the new house and everything's great. But if you need it, it's there for you. It's a 3% safety net. So I think it's fantastic for that.
Absolutely. And again, just to emphasize, a lot of buyers are buying homes first, and then if they do have a home to sell, they sell it later, which I still think, I mean, that's better anyways. You don't want to be bombarded with these showings, getting out of the house. It's best to just move out of your house into your new one, have your home that you need to sell, clean it up, stage it if you want to, and have it vacant for showings. It'd be easy. It'd be a faster sell. Probably you get multiple offers. So I think that's probably the best strategy, and it's a really good program overall. I don't have any questions right now, but I wasn't sure if Melissa or Amanda wanted to ask other questions in regards to the buy or the sell program with Cash is King, right? Is that what it's called, Michael? Cash is King?
Yeah,
okay,
we
cool.
call it Cash is King.
Cash is King. I like that.
Can I jump in on what you just said, Liza, where you said a lot of sellers are just buying the house and then selling their house later? Michael, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's not going to work for everybody, right? They have to hold both mortgages?
That's right. It's not going to work for everybody. And I'll tell you this too. Even the people that are doing that don't want to really do that, right?
Yeah.
They're only doing it because this market is making them.
Right.
It's making them push aside what they would prefer to do so they can get the house that they really want. And so, yeah, we have to make sacrifices in this kind of market, unfortunately. I think the cash program actually does the same thing, right? And so it allows them to close on it. They don't have to have showings. They don't have to necessarily get the house ready to go. All they have to do is pack up and move.
Yes.
Close on the new one. We'll buy it cash when we need to and free you up from that equity or that burden. And then you can use your equity to put on the new house and close with that equity. So you're reducing the monthly payment on the new house, not taking a higher one and then going and doing a principal reduction later.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's we like to say it's a win-win-win. You know, if we can get everybody in the transaction to benefit, then it's a win-win-win for everyone.
3 wins.
3 wins.
That's right.
I like that.
Amanda, did you have any questions for Michael?
I'm thinking I'm probably going to have some questions. I mean, Michael, what is your competition like with Cash is King?
Our competition I love that question because basically it's the third party companies, right? Mm-hmm. So it's the Ribbons, the Homewards, all those. And there's nothing wrong with those companies, but keep this in mind. We're not doing it for a profit. Mm-hmm. They're in business to make a profit. We're not doing this for a profit. We're doing it as a value added to the consumer. Right. And we don't want to make a profit on it. It's not our goal. And then the other reason is because we use as a mortgage company doing this. My competition is not a lot of other mortgage companies aren't doing this, right? So our competition within the industry is not very stiff because there's not a lot of people that have a forward-thinking CEO that's putting these programs together to help their consumers. And so that's what we love about AmeriFirst, and we're very excited to be a part of it. The other thing that I want to say about, and I don't want to talk about CEOs, you know, CEOs are a bad word these days. And, but Eric's a great guy. So for this Cash is King program, he does a training every, Thursday at I think it's at 1:30. I was about to say 11. It's 1:30. So he does it every Thursday at 1:30, and it's open to anybody. It's open to agents. It's open to consumers. Anybody that wants to learn more about the Cash is King program, they can join this Zoom call. It's free. It's about an hour long, and he just lets people ask questions all they want. And so the good thing about it is you get a cross section of perspectives. You get a lot of different questions from all over the country, and it's a good way to learn more about the program.
That's awesome. Yeah, Michael, I'm glad you mentioned that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to link your information in this video here in the stream. Whenever the stream ends, I am going to add your information on there. That way people know how to.
Thursday at
yes.
1:30.
Yes. So I do want to add that as well. Is there a link to that, Michael, that perhaps you could send over either to myself or Melissa or Amanda, and then maybe we can share that and add that link into the description for this video, for the live stream? I would love to share that for people to know where to go.
And she can forward it to you guys.
Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
No problem at all. And then I also, one of the things we're working on currently that we should have out shortly are website landing pages that go over this program. So that you can direct your consumer directly to that website and they can get all the information they need. And of course, we're happy to, in fact, if I require it, I want to talk to them about the program. I want to be able to explain it, answer their questions. And I also have a spreadsheet that I use that details exactly what the costs are to them. So I go by it line by line, they understand it. It tells them what they're going to net on when we first buy it, and it tells them what they're going to net when we sell the house.
Got it.
I like that because I feel like without it, you have to re-explain it and explain it and explain it
Yeah.
over and over again.
So we developed this at our branch, and we're very proud of it, and we do it for both sides. So we'll do it for the listing side when we buy the listing, and we'll do it, and we also have one that's separate for the buy side. And what we do on that one is we compare what it would look like to buy it cash versus getting a traditional loan to close on it.
Oh,
so
that's awesome. I love that because I think buyers are either very visual or they're data driven. And I think that alone knocks out two things right there. So that's awesome.
Yeah, we developed this specifically for our engineers. So
there you go.
You can't just explain something to an engineer. You got to show them.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm not an engineer, obviously, but I'm very much data driven, and I like seeing all my numbers in one page, seeing how everything looks to me. So that's so cool to hear that you guys have that.
I'm the visual person. I'm
a visual person too.
Well, what we can do is, Melissa, you put an email together with everybody on it, and then I'll forward you guys that spreadsheet so y'all can look at it and play with it if you want, and then y'all can have fun with it, and it's a great thing to show your customers if you ever want to try to explain something. I think Cash is King is a great way to go get a listing, right? Because
heck yeah.
How much confidence can you have in that listing appointment if you tell the seller, I'm going to sell your house, period.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's just no doubt. Why. I mean, regardless, this market is awesome for them to sell, but even better.
It doesn't take a brain surgeon to sell a house in this market.
Yeah.
But the reality is there are some not so pretty houses that can still sit on the market, right?
Yes.
It happens from time to time. And that's okay, right? Because like I said, you can go into that meeting and say, I promise to sell your house. I'll sell it for either top value now, or we'll sell it for slightly below value now and give you the top value when we sell it. And that's a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, for sure.
There's still a lot of sellers who are leery,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even in this market, they're like, well, I don't know. How many days am I going to sit on the market? And it's like, maybe for those who have a concern about how many days, maybe they need to make a move, maybe they got a job promotion and, they need to be gone like in 4 weeks or less. It's great.
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up, Melissa. Everybody has a unique situation that they're going through. They're either there's time constraints or they're testing it a little bit. They have this magic number that will work for them. I mean, there's a variety of reasons. Regardless, I do think either utilizing Cash is King or having it as a backup plan, you can't lose with that. Just having it there, I think it's awesome. Having it as an option from a local lender that's passionate about what he does and builds relationships out of that. I think that's so incredible to have that. I'm excited to share your information as well. I'm surprised I didn't hear about this before, about Cash's team.
You heard it from me.
Yeah, I did. I heard it from Melissa. I did, and that's why I didn't want to ask you any guys. I'm being serious, guys. I don't ask.
Okay, we only work with the cool people
Yeah.
first, and then we work with everybody else. So.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're gonna
So-
win a competitive market. We're gonna buy with certainty.
Yes.
We're gonna sell less and win more.
Yep.
That's right. That's right. Well, yeah, I'm glad that y'all see the value in it. It does take a little bit to wrap your head around it, but once you get it, once you truly understand it, and you understand that it's a safety net, I that's the way I like to think about it. It's plan B for every transaction you could possibly have. It's a plan B, and if we have to implement it, it's there, right?
Exactly.
Guaranteed plan B.
Absolutely.
Plan A, we want plan A. Plan A is the goal, but sometimes we don't always hit our goal immediately. And if we
Right.
don't, it's okay because we have plan B and it's guaranteed. So that's what I love about it. That's
And I think your Eric, the CEO, he tackled every aspect. Like you said, like, okay, if it doesn't work this way, we can do this. If this doesn't work, we'll do this. If this doesn't work, we have this option. Like he answered every scenario that could go wrong. So that's exciting.
Yeah, I
let me
think
ask you
that's
this,
awesome.
Melissa. When is the last CEO of a mortgage company that you've communicated with directly?
Never.
Never.
But
Never.
this guy was ready to put his, you know what, on the line
Oh,
for the, you know, and look,
that's
I'm being
amazing.
honest. How many mortgage companies can say that? I will write a check that my you know what can for sure cash.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what word I'm talking about. We're on YouTube.
He's
Yes,
simply just not
yes,
afraid to
Melissa,
lose.
we know.
If you do-
There you go. So when you have someone that's willing to put the risk on them, it's easier for me to then present this to a potential candidate for the program.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
That's amazing.
Well, awesome.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
I think not. I think we're good, right, guys? Uh-oh, you froze a little bit. Can y'all hear me?
We're all here.
Okay.
Michael, look,
Remember,
we just
guys,
want to
like,
thank you.
subscribe.
We want to thank you so much, Michael, for coming on. Like, you've been great. Anyone who's out there watching this or who will watch it later, there will be links for his information.
Yes.
There will be information on the day of the week and the time that they do talk about this program. You can ask any one of us, or, you know, if you do have a realtor you're working with already and they want to learn more, have them reach out to us and we can provide the information to them, or they can link directly to Michael and AmeriFirst Mortgage. So
Absolutely. Yes. I will definitely, as soon as this live stream is over, I will link all of Michael's information into the description of this live stream. Also, guys, don't forget to please like and subscribe to our channel. We work very hard to provide very valuable information that's current, that pertains to this market. It's local and it can help you out. We're real. We're as real as it gets. And also, if you guys want to get to know us a little bit more, or maybe you're interested about purchasing a home or selling a home, we do have our links also attached in our description. So make sure you check that out to get to know us a little bit or contact us. We do have all of our contact information on there: email, sites, phone numbers, social media, all the lovely stuff that you want to know about us before you contact us. I know a lot of people do some research on
are you
realtors.
calling it Facebook stalking?
Yeah, some people
Yeah,
stalk.
you know, Liza, that's exactly what you're gonna do.
I know, right? I'm gonna stalk you,
Mike.
Michael, and
Don't
just
have
look
to
to
record
see. Let me see if he has a Twitter account and Instagram. Yeah.
That's okay. I have nothing to hide. Go for it. I don't care.
So that's awesome. So again, guys, we are ATX Homegirls, and we are your lovely host. We have Melissa Hudson, and then we have Amanda Alvarez. And Kina is not here with us, but
We missed you today.
she's
Tina.
here in spirit right now. Yeah, she's not here with us. And then I'm Liza Brazo, again, our special guest, Michael Brandt, and I will link his information into the YouTube description after we're done with this live stream. Again, do not forget to like and subscribe. This will help our channel grow. We're brand new, and we're providing content to you guys every other week on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. So
We just want to thank you guys for joining us. Those who have been hanging in here and watching us. Big heart and big thank you.
I know. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you all. I
Alrighty.
appreciate it. It's great
Yeah,
to meet
thank you so much,
everybody.
Mike.